Hello there. My name is Cynthia Wakeo, the Communication and Events Manager at Corporate Staffing Services. With me is Pamina Swainaina, our lead recruiter at Corporate Staffing Services, who is going to be taking us through the top mistakes SMEs make when recruiting employees. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So what are the common mistakes you see from experience SMEs making when recruiting?
So when it comes to recruitment, Cynthia, you've got to understand that it's not just a matter of, just getting any type of employee. Employees can make or break an organization. And if there's an organization that needs to get it right from the very beginning, it's because of is SMEs. And the reason is because, SMEs don't have the resources. So they don't have a chance to make mistakes that big companies and multinationals can get away with, because these big companies have budgets, very big budgets. So they can be able to absorb some of these mistakes that happen. So when it comes to recruitment, I've observed 4 key mistakes I would say that SMEs make. And here they are briefly. Number 1 is hiring without clear job descriptions, KPI, and basically not having their house in order. So what happens is you hire someone, this person is qualified, they might even be very motivated to join your organization, but your house is not in order. You don't have a job description. There are no KPIs. You don't do performance management, performance appraisals. Every day is there are all these changes that happen on a daily basis. So how do you expect this person to make it? How do you expect this person to be productive? So that's number 1, mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is not adhering to the recruitment process. So the hiring process, there's a reason why we call it a process. And why is it a process? We begin by making sure our house in order, in the sense that you have job descriptions, you have KPIs, then you advertise, then you shortlist, then you do the interviews, then you do the reference checks. So as you can see, it's not something that you just text a friend telling them, hey, I have an accounting position I want to fill. Do you have a friend? And then you get 2 CVs and you interview one candidate and you like them because of their personality, and then you ask them to join the following day. No. If you want to get it right, if you want to get employees who will stay with you, who will be productive, is don't have shortcuts. So have time. It's not time wasted for you to post jobs on an advert to receive as many CVs. You're investing, because you'd rather take 1 month to get it right and then maybe revisit 3 years or 4 years later, because you've hired the right person. So even if they stay with you 3 or 4 years, that's a good use of your time. The third mistake I see SMEs making is hiring of a qualified candidates. So here you have a job. Let's say it's a receptionist role. And because there are so many jobless graduates there, what do? You hire this graduate. And yet a diploma holder or a certificate holder could have been ideal for this job. Now what happens is, when you hire this overqualified person, their friends are working for Safaricom, they're working for big organization, and because they are fresh graduate, they will not be comfortable. Even the salary you are paying them may not be commensurate with what the other fresh graduates are being paid. So I always advise our clients, if this position can be done by someone with this certain level of qualification, skills, and they don't need to be a graduate, they don't need to be overqualified. Because also being overqualified is not just a matter of qualifications. You could hire someone with 5 years of experience, yet this job can be done by someone with 1 year of experience. That's someone will not settle. And within 1 or 2 months, they'll have started looking for other opportunities. Yeah. And the last one is the issue of salary. And I know salary is quite emotive, because on one hand, if you're an SME, you don't have a lot of money. But on the other hand, the staff, they need sustenance. I mean, someone needs to pay rent, they need to pay transport and such kind of things. So I would say here it means to be understanding. It's not that I'm recommending you go and borrow money so that you can pay salaries, but it's just to be understanding. If you're an SME and you can only afford 5,000 or 10,000, you can start there, but do explain to this person. But then again, also as business improves, also you see how you can also reward the employees in a better way. So it's to be able to research, get to understand what is the market rate. For example, if it means hiring a certificate holder who I have to train, but who is within my budget, it's a better decision than hiring a graduate who will be asking for a lot of money. Or even if they don't ask a lot of money, then they'll come in, they're desperate, but the minute they settle 1 or 2 months, then they start looking. So you've also got to look at the salary aspect. So those I would say are the top 4 mistakes. Yeah.
And what are the results of these mistakes when they happen?
Now, there are various things that will happen if you don't adhere to uh, the kind of things that I've said that you should be on the lookout for. Number one, you find it's a very chaotic environment because, for example, I talked about the issue of job description. Someone comes, they don't know what is expected of them. And I know they are not perfect organization. I mean, even multinationals, sometimes they make mistakes there. But you can imagine from the word go, if this person doesn't know what is expected of them, then chaos starts there. The other mistake, if you find you've hired someone who's overqualified, then every month you'll be having a very high turnover. Why? Because people you come, they are desperate, but the day they join is still the same time they're applying for other jobs. So you find that you have also a lot of turnover. Yeah. And then also you find as a business owner, you also be under a lot of stress because if people are also coming, they are leaving, or they are coming and they're not doing the job that you want them to do. And yet it's your failure of not communicating, then you also be having a lot of stress. And sometimes even you find yourself doing the job that you've hired them to do. Yeah. So these are serious things that would-be employers need to pay attention to.
Yeah. And with that, so now, how do you avoid these mistakes? How do SMEs ensure that they don't make these mistakes?
I would say number one is to seek advice, expert advice, and that's why we are here as corporate staffing services. So we do support even SMEs. So when SMEs come to us, we're able to advise them on salary range. If they don't have job description, we're able to do the job description for them. We're able to help them come up with KPIs. We are able to even help them with performance appraisals. Even the other things like adhering to the labor laws. Like now, you shouldn't hire someone without a contract. SMEs, a lot of them, they don't give their staff contracts. Yeah. So for us, over and above getting you the right kind of employee, we also make sure that in terms of HR structures, we've been able to empower you. Yeah. And more than that, because on a day-to-day basis, we interact with very many professionals looking for jobs. So we'll be able to advise you for this position, who's an ideal fit. Is it a certificate holder? Is it a diploma? Or is it even a graduate? And what are the expectations? Yeah. So ours is to offer a helping hand so that this SME can be able to be stable and the business can be able to thrive. And I remember there's a client who we got way back in 2010. In fact, our first client. So when we met them, there were only 2 directors and 2 staff. So they sought our services to hire a marketing professional, the 3rd staff. And I'm happy to say now that company, looking at it now, they have close to 150 staff. And so the person we hired went all the way to become our marketing manager. They left after 6 years. But it's a client who we still have. So we replaced, we got for them another individual to serve that role. And I'm happy to say they are still with them. So I've been able to grow with that company and see the transformation within those 10 years. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up,
Yeah.
final thoughts on, advice to SMEs looking to hire.
I think SMEs, we must put systems in place. This idea of working in chaos, it's not good. It's not good for the business. It's not good for the staff. It's also not good for our health. I mean, many business owners, it's quite stressful being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. And the remedy is to be able to put structures. Whether it's recruitment, whether it's HR, structures will be the ones which will save your business. And they're also the ones which will help you to grow to that next level. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your expertise.
Thank you for your time.
As you've heard from our lead recruiter, we are here to help. We have the expertise, we have the experience, and we have the manpower to do it for you. All you need to do is click on the link below. Thank you and see you next time.